Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the channel. As you can see, I am not in the car. I am in a little bit of a strange location. I'm in my living room, and that is because today the weather decided to try to kill us all. It has been snowing all day. It is, right now I believe it's about 5 degrees outside, and that's the ambient temperature. That's not even the wind chill. It's 5 degrees outside, so you guys get the special privilege of not only having this review done in my living room, but you get to see teleworking John complete with pajamas and warm blanket. Because as much as I love having these nice large windows, it's a little bit chilly on this end of the room. It's much more comfortable in my actual chair, but the lighting's weird, and I just kind of thought that this would be fun, different thing to begin with. Anyway, so as you can see, that is the film that we saw this evening. The plan originally was for us to go and see The Beekeeper, starring Jason Statham, but the weather told us, you have The Beekeeper at home, and this literally is The Beekeeper at Home, the home premiere of The Bricklayer, which is another film that's about an ex-CIA agent who's called back into service. However, as familiar as that sounds, it isn't the same film that we saw last week, The Painter, which was about an ex-CIA agent who was called back into service because the CIA was trying to kill him. Instead, we get The Bricklayer, who is a former CIA agent who is called back into duty by the CIA because the CIA is being blackmailed by a former CIA agent who was this CIA operative's friend, and who the CIA operative apparently was supposed to have killed on his last mission. So yeah, I may not be joined physically by DJ. However, we did watch this film together with a unique little feature on Amazon. We did a watch party, and we both watched it together and literally had a live chat. And so I have DJ's thoughts, and presenting them is none other than Sock DJ. Because I am not dialoguing the popcorn bucket to replace DJ. Sock DJ will do the honors. Sock DJ, what do you think about this film on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, I think that this film is actually, it's technically correct, and it's more well put together than the Painter, but I give it a 4. It's about the same level as the Painter, a little bit more soulless, but definitely more put together.
Thank you, Sock DJ. Yeah, DJ gave this film a 4, and he said that it's the same as The Painter, and except it's more soulless and it's more well put together. I tend to agree with DJ. The cinematography in this film could be really good, but then it could be really stinted. There was some odd moments, but the other thing is that the acting was a lot stiffer in this film. Even though the dialogue seemed to be more put together, it didn't feel as like AI and computer generated. It still felt extremely stiff. And the entire film overall just kind of left me with a feeling of soullessness. For me personally, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this film a 3.5. It's kind of the same as The Painter, not just in like the similarities in the story and the tropes and all these other things like that, but overall just the quality. It's just not a good quality film, and overall I didn't enjoy it. So 3.5 out of 10. Do I recommend seeing it in theaters? I don't think this film came out in theaters. Do I recommend you stream it? Well, as you can see behind me, it's for rent on Amazon, but it's $9.99 for this film, and it really isn't worth $9.99 for the viewing. So overall, just not really recommend, not even something that you can put on in the background, because it's complicated enough that you need to pay attention to it, but it is so dry and so soulless and so boring at times that it feels almost like a punishment to have to watch it. So yeah, overall, not a recommend. You're better off not seeing this film. With that, I could go into spoilers, so I guess I will. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. this film really does feel very predictable. There's a couple of times in it where they did something kind of interesting and unique, but then they almost immediately threw it out. The big joke that we had throughout the film is that the female lead, the counterpart to our main character here, felt a little too naive and innocent to be in the CIA. But the other thing is that the scriptwriter kind of ham-fisted it to try to make it seem like she wasn't only just there on accident or there just because she got the intel first, but that she was actually kind of qualified to be there. So they ram in a couple of things where it's like, oh yeah, she seems to be relatively competent with a firearm. She's had 300 hours of field training and all of these different things, but she's still new and naive and stuff like that. The other thing is that she seems really too innocent and kind of too naive and peppy to be a CIA intelligence operative who's kind of at the top of her game. Military, CIA, and FBI and stuff like that, they see a lot of really messed up crap. So the fact that this girl kind of comes off like a girl, and it's weird because she's 35, but she comes off like she's early 20s in the film. She's just too naive, she's too bubbly, and she seems too trusting of a lot of these trained assassin espionage type people. Our main character is called the Bricklayer, but let's just put it this way. Any time that he is face to face with his own creation, i.e. has laid brick, he breaks through the walls like he's the Kool-Aid man. So either he is just like shoddily putting these walls together and he's a terrible craftsman, or he's the Kool-Aid man and they just call him the Bricklayer because he lays waste to bricks. Literally, there's scenes in this film where it doesn't make sense how intense some of the action gets. It's really stinted, like in the hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. There's really clear gaffes and stuff like that where the main character punches, but it's clearly like over here, and they just added the sound effect later in the extra. It's just like, oh, my face! Oh, you sucked me right in the face. So there's stuff like that, but then they have these like really super intense like action moments where he busts through walls. Like, no kidding, through concrete brick walls. He just rams through, tackles dudes, attacks them and stuff like that. And then he's also on an elevator in the first attack sequence. He's on an elevator, and the elevator just randomly decides that it can't support the weight of two grown men. So the top of it explodes and sends them both tumbling down pretty much to the ground. It was just stuff like that. Sometimes a car backs into another car, and apparently that car identified that day as a Ford Pinto and exploded. No real rhyme or reason behind it, just car hits other car parked on the street and they explode. Sometimes when they set up that there's going to be this huge explosion, in one scene there's like a climactic moment where this bomb is supposed to be going off, and when it does go off, it's highly disappointing and it just takes out a wall. But it was supposed to be this like, aha, you fell for my trap, I'll kill you all in this fire explosion. And he literally just moves the desk slightly, like 3 feet over towards the wall, and only the wall blows up. It feels really choppily edited at times. There's scenes where they literally filmed in such a tight area that they had to cut the film 27, 28 times in the matter of 10 seconds in order to feel like it's being dynamic and energetic while he's going down this like really tight little hallway with a 90-degree turn in it. So just not a great choice as far as like your shooting location. And then you filmed it 6 times, I guess, because literally it's just cameras and they switch angles all over the place. Very choppily edited. It really struggles a lot from these jump cuts. What are a couple of other things that just kind of stink about this film? One of the shots in the film literally shows the main character kind of like bonding with the main antagonist's family, and they get in close for this like hug picture, and it's literally like, I don't know if the main actor, he's a decent actor, if he showed up like really drunk that day or something, because there's a scene where they're like all huddling together and like getting together for like a picture, and they're all like over the top, like, I love you all so much and you're definitely not going to die. It's just so corny. It's like the corniest shot ever, and I would have put that on the screen, but Prime outsmarted me this time, and I would have to pay another $9.99 for the privilege of finding that shot for you guys. So you get this title screen. Yeah, just overall, it has like 2 or 3 climaxes where it's like, oh yeah, they found the guy, and they stopped the guy from assassinating this public figure, but then they try to find out who's really behind it. And when they try to find out who's really behind it, they find that it's the head of station in the town that the explosion was going, or the assassination was going to go down in. Sorry, my foot fell asleep. So it's actually her all along. And then they have to have another climax where the female lead decides, I'm done with this CIA game. It doesn't really seem to jive with me properly, and it just doesn't fit my personality. And suddenly, even though I'm deathly allergic to dogs, I now have a dog. Because character growth? I don't know. What are a couple of other things that I can point out about this film? There's really just not that much going on, and there's not that much going for it. It's very cheaply shot, and it feels very, very cheap. But the thing that's surprising is this film had a $25 million budget, and it still felt like I literally have seen films in the last year that had $5 million budgets, $10 million budgets, $15 million budgets that were better put together than this. Godzilla Minus One is obviously like the prime example, because half of that film is in CGI, and it still costs $10 million less than this garbage. I just don't understand where the money is going with a lot of these projects. Yeah, I just don't really have much else to say about this film. It's really just not worth your guys' time. If you're looking through something to watch, and you're going to pay to rent something anyway, rent Mission Impossible, rent any other spy thriller genre thing, because this film's just not worth it. But speaking of worth it, if you guys like these new reviews every week, we do try to get to the theater, weather permitting. We try to get to the theater, but we still give you guys a new review every single week, whether it's an at-home kind of premiere release review like this, or at the theater where we prefer to be. We do that every week, release them on Saturdays. Otherwise, we do monthly shows. We watch bad films and rewrite them. We watch old films and we revisit them in a podcast form. And then we also have a straight up podcast where we talk about different film and entertainment topics that we release twice a month. So if that interests you, this channel probably interests you, please consider subscribing. Otherwise, if you like this video, let us know with a like and leave us your thoughts in the comments below about the Bricklayer, but the channel in general, because we are always open to your guys' feedback and we want to give you the content that you want. Otherwise, I think I'll get out of your guys' hair. See you guys in the next video.